Thanks for tuning into this very special conversation. The next 30 minutes promise to be engaging because on the 75th anniversary of the Indian independence, we have a very special guest on the show today, Mr. Raamdeo Agrawal. He needs no introduction. And the conversation today with Mr. Agrawal is about not only how much have we as an economy and through capital markets achieved over the last many years, but what does this do and what can we do over the course of the next few years to ensure that what is been a decent growth period becomes a hyper growth period, so to say. Mr. Karwal, great having you. Thanks for joining in, and I hope all is well.
Yeah, everything is fine. Yeah,
Super.
thanks for coming.
No, the pleasure is ours, sir. Thanks for hosting us.
Yeah.
May I ask you, Mr. Agarwal, if I were to ask you to look back, not at 75 years, really, the capital market history may not be as long,
Yeah.
but are there some telltale features on the capital market side which would make you believe that we've done a lot of things right in order to help businesses and help the economy?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, good you are reminding me of what we have gone through. I started my career in this market. I mean, the entire my career is spent here. So I started dabbling in the market in 1980.
Mhm.
So since then, 42 years I have seen. And markets were primitive. I mean, in 80s and all, there were no technology, there was no telecom, no computing power, no research, no dissemination of information, no availability of balance sheets, research infrastructure was zero. So it was very primitive market. And I mean, it was T plus 15 settlement. And actually, it used to be T plus 21 settlement, And so from there, we have reached to fully dematted kind of infrastructure, T plus one settlement. Uh, we are trading one of the largest number of trades in the world, and is one of the most vibrant and safe market. See, when the SEBI came in
Hmm.
91, 92, they made the market very safe, which was not safe for the investor. Because ultimately, this is a place where people are bringing their hard-earned savings to be invested in the markets into perpetuity, actually.
Sure.
Okay, so it has to be a very safe place. So that was not safe at that point of time. Now it has become very safe and very fast and very reliable. I mean, T plus one settlement, it can't get any better times, and you're trading 6, 7, or 8 hours. I mean, from 9:30 till 3:30. Earlier, it used to be 12 to 2, and many days there used to be holidays. So I think this is completely a change. If there is one place which has changed like absolutely dramatically, it is the capital markets in last for good,
Yeah,
actually.
sure.
For good, the cost of transactions have come down. So it has been a revolution kind of thing in last 40 years, right in front of me, and it has come to a stage where it has kind of becoming a competitive advantage of the nation.
Why do you say that?
Yeah, so that's where I think everybody is not prided with the kind of vibrant market India has. See, India is a poor country. Let's recognize that. Very
Sure.
large, but relatively poor country. 2,200, $2,300 per capita for a large mass of 1.4 billion people, and the world average is 12, $13,000. So we are poor. So in this kind of country setup, but then market infrastructure advancement is way ahead. I mean, many things we are probably world number one. Single stock futures, the pace of settlement, the payment mechanisms, and all of those things are world class, absolutely. So digital infrastructure is very world class. So so this is a now emerging as a competitive advantage for a nation, and in a capitalist economy. I mean, when you are pursuing a capitalist economy, a market-based economy, the importance of capital market is extremely high, because this is where the biggest game is being played and will happen, because you have to lose or win here rather than anywhere else. So the importance of capital market cannot be undermined, because this is where all the savings they get pulled in one way or other. And how do you dispose of? you know how do you help your entrepreneurs? How do you help your new guys coming with your ideas, new ideas?
Hmm.
How do you convert them into entrepreneur? And the guy who is an entrepreneur, how do you help him become a big entrepreneur? And how do you help a very successful large entrepreneur to become a global corporation? These are all the doing of capital markets. This all happens here. So that's why we have reached, we have done wonderfully well in last 20, 30, 32 years of SEBI. Post that, it has done very well. But I think we can do even better and make it a really shining example of shining source of competitive advantage for the all the businesses and the economy of this country.
Okay. Can I divvy this up into private markets and public markets? Start off with the public markets.
Yeah.
We've seen a spate of reforms, as you said, a very safe place has become as well. And consistently, there is this lament, some of it due to regulation, some of it due to the economic problems that the country has that global investors would face when they look at India. For the longest time, it's been spoken that India, by its size, should have become an individual market unto itself, but still bucketed as a part of a clutch of companies into which flows come in. Do you reckon that there are some quick fixes or some regulatory changes that need to be done, either at the government level or at the regulator level, for speeding up this process of the capital hungry world, which is filled with billions of dollars of savings, to allocate more money to the country?
Yeah, actually, there is a massive savings glut world over. I mean, just before the COVID, the world was going into negative interest rate. There are the huge deflationary problem all over the world because world saves about 22 to 23 trillion dollars every year, and that is not the level of investments in the world. And now the new business models of all the digital companies, they are just net cash companies. I mean, everything is on the spot. So there is no inventory, there is no, there are no debtors. So basically, they are cash machines. So there is a lot more corporate cash or savings in the world which needs to be disposed of. So the opportunity to attract global capital apart from your own capital, I would think the most valuable is my own capital.
Sure, we'll come to that also.
Yeah, and then you have the massive pool of global capital and the size of the, and for me, I don't need, I'm not talking about give me 10% of the 22 trillion or something like that. I'm just saying that just to support my close to $1 trillion, my own savings, maybe 50, $100 billion strategic I need, high caliber money from the funds and all. So, so there is no dearth of capital in the world. And this is a changed situation. This was not the situation 20 years back. Today, that is the situation. So it's a very opportune time. One side, there is a country with literally the largest country in the world in terms of number of population. Okay. And we are amongst the poorest also. And outside, there's a savings glut.
Sure.
Can I create an environment here so that it can attract that money this side, the amount of money I want, and it can do justice with the savers also, so that they are rewarded very well. See, we have to see that they are being rewarded because they're not going to come for just charity. Sure, they're going to come for reward. So how do I make this pit or this capital market very rewarding place for domestic savings as well as foreign savings?
Sure.
Sure. Once that happens, then there is no dearth of money, and this pit has already done well. This has done well. Can we raise the stakes and can we make it even better?
Sure. Our counter to that, and let's just try to stick to the global piece for a minute, and then we'll get onto the local piece also. And I want to talk about the private markets as well in a meaningful way. But just on the global piece, do you reckon that we've had significant FI flows for multiple years before, let's say the last 12 months. Do you reckon what stops even more money coming into India is a factor of reforms needed in the capital markets? Is it stability in the tax regime? Or is it that because India is a country with twin deficits and therefore a foreign investor would think that the first sign of trouble, this currency will depreciate, and therefore is it risky enough to put in large oodles of money into this country? I know all of these individually in a combination do ail it, but do you think there is one larger or a first amongst equals when it comes to issues that impact a foreign investor's mind?
No, right now, what is happening, what we are going through in the last 12 months is nothing, there is nothing specific. It's a global macro.
No, but otherwise in general?
in general, always you can do better.
Of course.
See,
What
something
what
is
stops us? I mean, is it capital market reforms or is it something else?
is a I mean, I would say everything is a reform in the sense that whatever rules of the game you change for in a positive way
Uh-huh.
for the player, it is going to take you. I mean, few more guys will come. Say like in last budget or before that, they made tax holiday for all the sovereign wealth fund participating in this country. It will go a long way. I mean, in short while we would have not seen much, but as we go forward, it is going to go long way in terms of attracting funds. So clearly, every single step will have a cumulative effect, the way foreigners look at it. But current problems of whatever exits we have seen, which is unprecedented in the sense that I don't know, 50, $60 billion have
True.
gone relentlessly in last 10, 12 months. That is more because of global macro. It is not very India specific issue. And actually, to some extent, India is specific issue because Indian retail at the same time participated much more vigorously in Indian market, and that allowed the market to outperform with the rest of the pack. And that was taken as a signal that since this is a outperforming and it is more expensive compared to other emerging markets, let's get out of here. And liquidity provided was also fantastic.
Sure.
So the foreigners, they found it easy to sell here and get out and balance their portfolios between the developed market and emerging market. So that is so. What was a good thing for India actually, the domestic locals coming in, that actually provided buffer, liquidity, buffer, valuation, everything to the foreigners. So it's a quirk kind of thing, I would say, which has happened. But having gone, I don't think it is going to be that easy for them to re-enter the market. I think the cost of entering back will be far higher.
Simply because the valuations haven't buckled down too much.
No, because there is a guy who is standing who is continuously putting in.
Yes.
The domestic guy, see, domestic flow is far more structural.
Sure, sure.
They are there permanently 24/7. They don't have any option but to I mean, the markets are attractive, the returns have been very good, and the return on the fixed income side has been not so attractive. So clearly it is a and then you have the campaign going on, mutual fund sahi hai. So a lot of these factors have, and finally the onboarding, onboarding of the domestic investors since January 20, the digital onboarding, that has simply exploded the number of participants. Earlier, there were 40 million demat accounts. Now there are 100 million demat accounts. Every month, we are getting 2 to 3 million accounts, even in the depressed market.
Yeah.
So this particular revolution, I would say, actually it is no sort of revolution. What is going on right now? From a 40 million, we have come to 100 million, and I'm reasonably sure in next 3 to 4 years it will become 200 million, and then we are headed for 300 million. So this particular, it opens up a large amount of the savings pool, equity savings pool for the markets, for the
Sure.
entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And that is why the valuations are somewhat higher than in other parts of the world. And that is actually eventually people realize that this is the superiority of Indian market system than many other market systems. And then
Yeah.
foreigners will, at that point of time, when right now there are the red signals all over the world, what all is happening. But at some point of time, in 6 months, 1 year's time, when dust settles, and when the world comes to post-COVID settlement, and then they'll realize that this is a place where we want to come. But when they want to come, they've already started coming. For the last 15, 20 days, we are seeing as they start coming in, and they want to bring back that 50, 60 billion. And they're not going to bring back 50, 60 billion, let me tell you. They're going to come with 100, 200 billion. At that point of time, markets are going to go where it has to go.
Mhm.
So what I'm saying is that this game is going to become bigger.
Sure.
Why it is going to become bigger? Because we have provided them very honorable exit.
Sure.
So that has increased their confidence to go back with bigger bets next time,
Got
because
it.
they have the confidence that this market system works. So we have to only make it better as we go forward.
So one last question on this public markets piece, whether it be for a domestic investor, whether it be for a large domestic investor like firms like yours or you individually, or a large global investor, what should be the regulation front, if at all, uh, to encourage this 100, 200 billion to become even higher, or for this flow of retail money that is coming in at the rate of about $1.5 billion to become even larger?
See, actually, it's an ongoing issue. It's not that there is no some 10 pending issues which needs to be
Right.
taken care of, but just the attention that it is a very valuable asset in my hand. That
You mean the capital markets?
the capital market at a government level to realize that this is a very, very important, even politically also. Earlier, only 40 million guys were having the demat account. Who cares about 40 million in this country of 140, 1400 million? Now it will become 200 million, 300 million, and they are households. So into five. So you're talking about very large, like 20, 30% of the population being part of this game. So politically also will become very important. So what I'm saying is that at a government level, there should be a clear thinking that this is our very precious asset, and hence every single then so from there what happens is the listening starts, that okay, what are the problems and how we can do it better, because there are global I mean, which way you want to do it. Do you want to do it like Britain? Do you want to do like US? Do you want to do like China? Do you want to do it like Singapore, Hong Kong? There are various models for all the problems. The issue is there listening, is there quick disposal of the problems,
Hmm.
and are we looking forward to make it bigger and better for every level of investors? I mean, from a single investor, small investor, into private unlisted space and listed space.
Sure.
I think listed space has been very well taken care of so far.
Hmm.
But private space, where actually germination of the new enterprises happen, that's where the game has to become big. Because for one successful enterprise, you need hundreds of unsuccessful ones. So who is going to take care of that?
How do you propose that that is done, Mr. Agrawal?
You know, see the I don't have any specific suggestion
Sure, sure, of course, of
to
course.
say about what should be done, but it should be encouraged. As just like you say, mutual fund sahi hai.
Hmm.
So private equity is also private equity investing भी सही है.
Hmm.
ये प्राइवेट मतलब अनलिस्टेड स्पेस में इन्वेस्टिंग इज आल्सो सही है. ये I mean, this kind of thought process must come through. Now, how will it come? Say, like, the amount might be small, but giving a nudge through the tax proposals that, how if I invest something in a startup, then what happens? How I'm being treated. I'm not looked upon. I'm not looked down. Or when I incur loss, see, most of the time people are going to incur losses by you. If I give to, this is my personal experience, if I invest in 10 unlisted companies, 7 or 8 are going to be zero. So how do I treat my losses? What kind of facility I have for treating of my losses? And one or two which is successful, then how I'm encouraged to nurture that one or two success? Then I should not be treated at a disadvantage. The moment you are unlisted, you have to pay a lot more taxes than in listed space. So it is not about, see, because the amount is involved is very small right now.
Hmm.
So it is not about impact on the exchequer or anything like that, but giving a signal that yes, starting a company and I helping him at that point of time to start that business is very. It is the biggest national activity. I'm telling you, there cannot be. It is better than even donation. Believe me. If I am giving 10 crore donation, that is far is of less value than giving 10 crores to 10 guys to start 10 businesses.
Hmm.
You get what I'm
Sure,
saying?
sure.
So that is the level of treatment required from the government's point of view. How do you encourage people to encourage? See, because it's everything starts with an idea, but the guy who has an idea, he may not be having money. Most likely, he will not have the money, and this is a poor country. And the idea can come from Kerala, it can come from Kashmir, it can come from anywhere.
Sure.
But is there a culture of helping that guy with an idea to be held by banks, by the individuals, by the relatives? And how does the government see it? Does government encourage? I'm not saying they are discouraging or anything like that.
That I was about to ask you. The
No,
government
they're
is
not
not trying to do
discouraging.
that anyway.
No, nobody is discouraging. But are we encouraging? These are two different things.
Okay. Okay. So you are essentially saying this from a perspective of the smaller entrepreneur, because we've seen, for example, even in, I mean, larger companies being able to attract larger global capital, and that is coming into the country. The smaller entrepreneur,
Yeah,
the
see,
startup entrepreneur
at
is not
every
seeing
level,
that.
see, there'll be issues. I mean, I would not be able to speak for everybody,
Sure, of
but at
course.
every level of growth
Mm-hmm.
and development, there will be challenges. Say you want to take over a company, you want to go from say 10 million ton to 20 million tons, and you acquire something. Banks will not come to fund you. It is not allowed by banking Indian banking system. So what I'm saying is that it is considered a sensitive sector. I mean, something happened in '92, and after that, our regulators and all they have decided that it is a sensitive sector. It's very fluctuating sector, and hence it is not given the kind of status it is given to many other more volatile industry. But this is what creates other industries.
Sure.
So you cannot wash away. You can't. You can't say that I will not be responsible for whatever these guys they do because they look like a little more risky.
Sure. Sure.
You know. So I think at every level, the flow of capital to the people who have the idea, whether idea at a initial stage, idea at little growth stage, idea at a very large stage,
Hmm.
when they are growing global. Everywhere, government and their agencies should be standing by
Okay.
because somebody is employing a lakh guys, he can employ another lakh.
Sure.
Somebody is starting from zero, he can employ five guys. It is all about the employment and better employment.
Got it. Got it. Mr. Karmal, can I ask you, how constructive are you on some of these? Let's assume some of these processes happen, some of them don't happen. In the last 5 years, in particular, we've seen a massive startup culture in India blossoming. I mean,
Yeah,
Bangalore is considered to be a hub, but a bunch of other areas as well, and this is happening all across the country. So, be it in the startup space or be it on the bedrock of reforms that have already been done in the larger listed space as well. How optimistic are you of the journey which is being crafted by Indian entrepreneurs and the opportunity that is provided by virtue of the tilting global landscape, ushering in higher growth both for a GDP as well as for the profitability of Indian entrepreneurs?
yeah, I'm very hopeful because there is a capital glut, as I said.
You're normally bullish. Are you bullish right now, or are you hopeful?
No, no, I'm very bullish. See, as far as the longer term prospect for Indian entrepreneurs, Indian economy is concerned, I'm very bullish. I mean, that's why my 100% of my savings, whatever I earn, everything is put behind one entrepreneur, other or my own enterprise.
Yeah.
So I don't sit on cash or anything like that. So clearly, I'm bullish because I have seen from where we have come in last 40 years. So next 40 years is going to be golden. And now the kind of situation India has reached, and I hope this all this geopolitical tension which is happening right now, out of that everybody comes out. We come out of it basically. Fundamentally, we come out. So after that, I see India has a unique position. We have terrific, stable leadership. We have everything going for us actually. Everything going for us. So and that's in that context only I'm saying that if you improve the situation in terms of helping your entrepreneur at every the guy would be entrepreneur starting from would be entrepreneur to a global entrepreneur, we got to be helping them. We have done wonderfully well, so let's not take away what government has done or what agencies have done or SEBI has done and all. So 100 out of 100 marks.
Sure.
But can we do more, a lot more, because this is becoming a competitive advantage for India. There
Sure.
are not many countries with India kind of a market systems.
Sir, you are in a last couple of questions. You are in a position wherein you have uh, a lot of large global corporations or fund managers who want to park money into India would be telling you about a few things that they believe are niggles or issues which, if sorted, would only raise their confidence. Is there something like that, be it for the startup world or the listed world, which which hopefully should be done sooner rather than later? I'm not saying this need
Yeah,
not be your view.
yeah, yeah.
This could be the view of people that who
No,
talk to you.
yeah. So generally, experiences. One is of course you want to. I mean, the permissions which comes through that you want predictability. that if it is coming in 60 days, not a problem 60 days, but it should come in 60 days. And after that, it should not be, okay, 90 days or 100. So nothing is dated. None of the permissions are dated.
Permissions for starting a business, you mean?
Anything.
Anything.
You want
Sure.
to start a
XYZ.
fund, you want to have some permission here and there. So they all come through. But when you're not sure when it will come, so it's not dated. So you need a little more certainty. I'm just talking about improving the system.
Sure.
Okay. Second is the constant dispute about the tax liability. I mean, we are also going through that. I mean, after 5, 7, 10 years, you distribute the money, and then the notice comes that the tax treatment could have been different. Could have been different. I mean, it's not that, and it's for the entire industry, not for one guy. So these kind of litigations. I mean, how we can avoid? How we can avoid? I don't have any suggestions, but it can be definitely be avoided. Why can't we have a much more definitive tax regime? Because ultimately I have invested in the future, and I need the definitive tax laws. If I am earning $1 million, I'm going to give 10% or 20% to you, and 70-80% is for sure it is there. So why can't we have some kind of advanced ruling, or some way our tax laws are not backward looking but much more forward looking, and no changes are made, which will be effective for, I mean, say, not next year, but maybe 3 or 4 years henceforth types, so that whatever I have done today is for sure it is going to be taxed like this, like grandfathering of everything, so that there is no concern in the mind of the investor that what he's seeing is what he's getting. That is very important. So those are things which can definitely, it's not that tax laws in other parts of the world are not treacherous or challenging, but I think here we have a chance to prove that we are, at least on this count, we are sorted.
Got it. I have one final question, Mr. Agarwal, and I took a view from somebody in the business fraternity about what can be done. I was wondering if you have a view here. So the belief was that there is a bit of risk appetite. Probably we need a lot more of risk appetite for credit as well as the PE space, and maybe to get a better way to get credit appetite is to allow AIFs to do credit with tax wrap of mutual funds, or PEs could be made equivalent to public equity through the AIF structure. Do you have any thoughts here? Are these easy to do reforms? Can these usher in more capital?
See, any reform, if done in positive way, they will definitely expand the opportunity. And these are newer. There are a lot of innovation in the capital markets world over. So we have to imbibe all the innovations as early as possible. These are few things you're talking about. There must be many more things, and one leads to other. These are all, complexity keeps increasing as you have number of instruments will increase, number of participants will increase, size of markets will increase. The complexity will also increase. So one has to be ready for far, because if it is a $3 trillion market, the complexity level is 0 to 10 would be say 6. The moment you become a $10 trillion market, it will become complexity will go to 8, 8.5, 9. And if you are $25 trillion, then complexity is 10 out of 10.
Got it.
So we have to be ready, geared up to handle complexity and scale. I mean, and our digital guys have done wonderfully well.
Sure.
But regulatory side and the tax authorities and all, I think they have to also, come up with the same level of changes, the pace at which the digital guys are changing.
Got it. So you do believe that a period of prosperity is up and about.
Yeah.
The only thing is, can we move from lever 1 to lever 3 with a few reforms being done?
Yeah. See, it's already a source of competitive advantage for India.
Sure.
The sophisticated and deep pool of capital we have, it's clearly a source of competitive advantage. Can we make it even deeper?
Sure.
Can we strengthen it further?
Inshallah, as they say. But Mr. Agrawal, pleasure talking to you today. Thank you. A very different conversation than what we usually have. Yes. But I think on such an important occasion, yes. I guess it was necessary.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for talking to us today.
Nice talking to you.
Yeah, thank you. And viewers, thanks for tuning into this very special conversation around what can be done in order to maybe give higher legs to what is already a fast galloping animal.